Look closely at the original 151 Pokémon roster. Amidst the fire-breathing dragons and psychic mutants, Sandslash looks like a genuine physical threat. It's a bipedal apex predator covered in lethal quills and armed with massive, jagged claws. For fans who grew up in the late 90s, that design carries serious weight. You can see that cultural footprint perfectly preserved in the merchandise craze of 1999, establishing Sandslash as a top-tier aesthetic staple of the franchise. That imposing, spiked silhouette actually borrows its exact structure from a real-world survivor, the pangolin. Between the razor-sharp visual design, the massive fan nostalgia, and its rugged biological inspiration, Sandslash looks perfectly engineered to dominate a battlefield. The pangolin's primary defense comes from these thick keratin scales, covering nearly its entire body. It's the exact same tough structural protein that makes up human hair and rhino horns. When threatened, pangolins curl into a tight ball, completely shielding their soft, vulnerable underbellies from predators. Sandslash inherited that exact armor technique, along with these massive claws, tools the real-world pangolin uses to aggressively excavate tough soil and insect mounds. With biology like that, you'd expect a combat powerhouse, but throwing Sandslash into an actual competitive battle almost always ends in immediate, embarrassing failure. It possesses the genetic blueprint of nature's ultimate armored tank, yet mathematically, it fails to execute on almost every performance metric. The Pokémon Company has recently tried to rehabilitate Sandslash's career through mobile gaming. During a Pokémon Go Community Day, they handed it an exclusive charged move called Night Slash to boost its viability. This bar chart outlines Sandslash's damage before and after the Night Slash boost. The net gain is almost invisible. Applying a multiplier to a weak base attack yields nothing. Compare that to top-tier competitors with the exact same buffs, their damage skyrockets. Handing Sandslash a new move acts as a simple side grade. It completely fails to patch the deep structural cracks in its combat profile. Over in the main series games, the corporate rankings are even harsher. Sandslash operates in the zero used tier, also known as ZU, the absolute rock bottom of the competitive ladder. Down there, it acts as a role compressor. That is polite corporate speak for a janitor. Its main job is using the move Rapid Spin to do the dirty work of sweeping away entry hazards left by the opposing team. And its natural predators are frankly embarrassing. On a competitive org chart, this armored beast reports directly to mundane grass types that easily defeat it, like Arboliva, which is literally an olive tree, or Diplin, an apple. It can barely survive on its own. To outspeed opponents, Sandslash physically requires a stronger teammate like Hippopotas to whip up a massive sandstorm and trigger its Sand Rush speed ability. Stripped of its menacing lore, Sandslash is the disposable, blue-collar custodian of the competitive ecosystem. Game Freak eventually tried a flashy corporate rebrand to save it, introducing the Alolan regional variant with an edgy ice and steel typing. They swapped the original quills for heavy icicles designed to scale glaciers, giving it a fresh, highly marketable aesthetic for a new generation. This multiplier grid reveals the catastrophic math behind that rebrand. By combining ice and steel, the developers accidentally engineered a crippling 4 times weakness to common fire and fighting attacks. The makeover traded away its old vulnerabilities to pick up fatal new ones, ensuring the Alolan variant collapsed just as quickly as the original. But there is a certain dignity in showing up to do the dirty work. Sandslash takes the hits, clears the hazards, and feints so the rest of the team can secure the win. We have to respect the hustle. Unfortunately, the real-world survivor that inspired that hustle is facing a severe crisis. Pangolins are currently the most trafficked non-human mammal on Earth. Poachers relentlessly hunt them down to harvest their keratin scales. Over 1 million pangolins have been poached in the last decade alone. To fight back, researchers at the Zoological Society of London and the University of Portsmouth are deploying advanced forensic fingerprinting techniques directly onto those confiscated scales to track and dismantle the poaching networks. We can audit Sandslash's awful stats in a video game all day long, but its real-world inspiration is fighting a very real battle for survival, one that requires actual advocacy to win.